Those fixtures might not quite be enough for a switch up in the top two. That could be the perfect recipe for some playoff places changing hands. Down in the bottom three, and they come out as having the hardest run of the entire division. 11 games to go for everyone in the Championship. Let's try and figure out who has the easiest and toughest run-ins. First thing I'm going to do is make an opponent difficulty ranking. I'm going to average out everyone's positions in the league table, the 12-game form table, and the Infogol XG table. Hey presto, that gives us this. Not much changes. Burnley, Sheffield United and Borough are the hardest opponents. I mean, go figure. At the bottom, it does have QPR as one of the three easiest rather than Wigan, who are actually in the bottom three. The big swingers, apparently playing Stoke and West Brom is probably more difficult than the league table suggests right now. And playing Blackburn, here we go again, is apparently easier than the league table suggests, although you'll all know why I'm smiling. Big caveat, when it comes to Blackburn, the data hasn't been too much help figuring them out. Now, if we take all the remaining fixtures, apply the difficulty ranking to each team and take an average, we'll get some kind of guide as to whose running is easiest and whose is toughest. Drum roll, please. That looks a little something like this. Happy days if you're a Millwall, Coventry or Watford fan. According to these numbers, those teams' run-ins are the easiest on paper. On the other end, not good news for Huddersfield, Hull and Sunderland, who according to our data here, have the most difficult run-ins in the entire division. Let's dig into a few interesting subplots then. First, the automatic promotion race. Sheffield United have a healthy lead over Borough, and according to our rankings, the Blades have the 10th hardest running, whilst Borough have the 6th hardest running. Those fixtures might not quite be enough for a switch up in the top two. But if you're up for some playoff race carnage, you'll like what I'm about to say, as according to our rankings, the four teams currently occupying the four places outside the top six, Millwall, Coventry, West Brom, Watford, have the four easiest run-ins in the whole division. And the teams in 3rd, 4th and 5th, that's Borough, Blackburn and Luton, are in the top six for the trickiest run-ins. That could be the perfect recipe for some playoff places changing hands. And down at the bottom of the table, well, the easiest conclusion, unfortunately, from these rankings is that Huddersfield are pretty doomed. Down in the bottom three, and they come out as having the hardest run of the entire division. Strangely, the other teams involved are all kind of grouped together, not really far enough apart to assume any big conclusions. Maybe one topic worth throwing into the mix is that we've got QPR as having a harder run-in than any of the other bottom six teams. Cause for concern with a 7-point cushion? You tell me. So, in conclusion, the run-in analysis doesn't point to too much big change in the top two or bottom three. Maybe that QPR wrinkle is worth looking at. It does suggest we might get a couple of good run-ins from the teams currently just outside the playoffs, and maybe some switching around is going to be going on up there. Let me know your take in the comments. Does this quick data blast make you more or less optimistic about your team's running? We don't do many pure data videos on the channel here, but when we do, hilariously, I get comments saying, but the data can't predict the future. Yeah, well done, Einstein, we get it. Hopefully, this is just the starting point for a good conversation. Process the numbers however you see fit, and for those people who would crunch the numbers differently, I'm all ears. Be my guest and show us you're working out. Speaking of working out, it's definitely working out for two former EFL teams up in the Premier League, Brentford and Fulham. Click up here to see my vlog from Monday night when our two highest ranked EFL alumni duked it out in a pulsating London derby.